everybody. Welcome. My name is Betty Adams. You can't hear me. I see that. No, we've learned that that may not be the best thing. Can you hear me better now, though? Okay. Okay. Can you hear me now? Okay. Anyway, let's, if everybody would please take a seat, we'd appreciate that, and we'll get started. My name is Betty Adams. I'm co-president of Temple Sinai. I'd like to welcome everyone in the sanctuary tonight, as well as everybody who's watching. And tonight we're going to, Rabbi Aviva Bass, of course, is here, and Dr. David McFarlane, our accompanist. We'll have a wonderful Shabbat. I'm also doing a sound check at the same time. Are we streaming? Okay. I guess we are. Thank you.
Okay. All right, so now we're going to not use these and turn those off so we don't get feedback. So Shabbat Shalom, everyone. It's good to see you. It's good to have all of you who are with us in our congregation, but virtually from your homes as well. So we are going to start, as we have started throughout this whole month, Tekiah. It's getting longer and longer, the blast, as we're getting closer and closer to Rosh Hashanah. Thank you, Susan. That is our Ba'alat Tekiah, Susan Buck. Thank you very much. So, candles. Okay. So we're going to light the candles, and I'm going to invite Lynn Weinstein to please do us the honor of the candle lighting, and we can do that on page 120 and 121.
As these Shabbat candles give light to all who behold them, so may we, by our lives, give light to all who behold us, as their brightness reminds us of the generations of Israel that have kindled light. So may we, in our own day, be among those who kindle light. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, asher kidshanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu lahadlik ner shel Shabbat.
Amen. Okay. And now we turn to pages 122 and 123 for the Kiddush. Vayir vayivokei yom hashishi, vayechulu hashamayim v'haaretz v'chol tzevam, vayechal Elohim bayom hashvi, malachto asher asa, vayishbot bayom hashvi, mikol malachto asher asa, vayvarech Elohim et yom hashvi, Vaykadesh oto, ki vo shavat mikol melachto, ki vo shavat mikol melachto, asher bara Elohim, asher bara Elohim la'asot sari l'chaim. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, Borei Peri Hagafen. Amen. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, asher kitshanu b'mitzvotav v'ratzavanu, v'shabbat kodsho באהבה וברצון הנחילנו, זיכרון למעשה בראשית. כי הוא יום תחילה למקרא קודש, זכר לציאת מצרים. כי בנו בחרת ואותנו קידשת מכל העמים, ושבת קודשך באהבה וברצון הנחלתנו. ברוך אתה אדוני מקדש השבת. אמן. לחיים. And now, before we sing the Shalom Aleichem, to invite all of the angels of Shabbat and greet them, all of the angels of Shabbat in our midst, whether seen or unseen, let's take a few moments to greet one another as the angels in our midst. So if you don't know the people around you, please introduce yourselves and wish each other Shabbat Shalom. Shabbat. Do we have anyone who's new here tonight or a guest? Yes. Would you mind introducing yourself to us? You're going to have to speak up. I'm sorry, I can't hear you. Michelle Byer. Oh, we're happy to have you. Welcome, Michelle. That's wonderful. Welcome to Temple Sinai. Anyone else? A guest or? Okay. Well, Shabbat Shalom to everyone. Oh, I'm sorry. I'm not seeing who else. Yes, someone in the back? Yes, please. What is it? Cheryl Gluck. Okay, good to meet you, Cheryl. Welcome. Anyone else? Okay, well, welcome to everyone and to everyone who is seeing us virtually on screen. So let's turn to page 142 and sing together the Shalom Aleichem. 142. Shalom Aleichem, Malachei HaSharet, Malachei Elyon, Mi Melech, Malachei Amlachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Bochem l'Shalom, Malachei HaShalom, Malachei Elyon, Mi Melech Malchei Hamlachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Baruchuni l'Shalom, Malachei HaShalom, Malachei Elyon, Mi Melech Malchei Hamlachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Tzedechem l'Shalom, Malachei HaShalom, Malachei Elyon, Mi Melech Malchei Hamlachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Now that we've started in a singing mood, it's so wonderful to hear all of you singing along. We're going to turn to page 131. This is one that we haven't sung in a while. This is Yismechu Hashamayim. It's the bottom paragraph on page 131. It's there both in the Hebrew and in the transliteration of the Hebrew. So if you know it, join along. If you don't know it or you don't know the words, but you can kind of get the melody, just sing along on Yadai. That's always a welcome and very Jewish thing to do. So Yismechu Hashamayim, page 132. השמיים, השמיים, ישמחו השמיים, השמיים, ישמחו השמיים, ותגל הארץ. ישמחו השמיים, השמיים, ישמחו השמיים, השמיים, ישמחו השמיים, ותגל הארץ. יירם הים, יירם הים, יירם הים ומלואו. 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 ישמחו השמיים, השמיים, ישמחו השמיים, השמיים, ישמחו השמיים, ותגל הארץ. That melody always makes me go back to my college days, because my rabbi then, Rabbi Lou Feldstein, who was the rabbi of the Hillel, he would always sing this, and we never knew how many times he was going to do the Yismechu, and he'd make believe he was going to end, and then he'd start it up again. So I had this little thing on my shoulder saying, oh, start it over again. But I didn't. I'll spare you that. But now that we are here, why don't we turn to page 138 and sing the quintessential song of Shabbat, Lecha Dodi, and of course, we're going to sing verses. Very good. And you know what we do when we come to verse 9? We slow down a little bit, and those who are able to do so rise and face the back doorway and welcome in the Shabbat queen or bride into our midst. Page 138, Lecha Dodi. Lecha Dodi likrat kala, pnei Shabbat nekabela. Lecha Dodi likrat kala, pnei Shabbat nekabela. Lecha Dodi, Lecha Dodi likrat kala, pnei Shabbat nekabela. Lecha Dodi likrat kala, pnei Shabbat nekabela. Shamor v'zachor b'dibur echad, Hishmianu el hamiuchad, Adonai echad u'shemo echad, L'shemo tiferet v'litila. Lecha Dodi Dodi, Lecha Dodi likrat kala, pnei Shabbat nekabela. Lecha Dodi likrat kala, pnei Shabbat nekabela. Likrat Shabbat lechu v'nelcha, ki hi mekor habracha, merosh mikedem nisucha, sof ma'aseh b'machshavat chila. Lecha Dodi Dodi, Lecha Dodi likrat kala, pnei Shabbat nekabela. Lecha Dodi likrat kala, pnei Shabbat nekabela. Verse 5, Hitoruri, Hitoruri, Kiva orech kumi uri, 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 shir daberi, kevod Adonai alayich nigla. Lecha, Lecha Dodi, Dodi, Lecha Dodi likrat kala, pnei Shabbat nekabela. Lecha Dodi likrat kala, pnei Shabbat nekabela. Boi ושלום עטרת בעלה, גם בשמחה ובצהלה, תוך אמוני עם סגולה. בואי כלה, בואי כלה, לך דודי דודי, לך דודי לקראת כלה, פני שבת נקבלה, לך דודי לקראת כלה, פני שבת נקבלה. We turn now to the Baruch, page 146. Yai lai lai, yai lai lai lai, yai lai 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 lai, yai lai lai, yai lai lai lai, lai 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 lai, yai lai 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 lai, yai lai 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 lai, yai lai 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 lai, yai lai 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 lai, yai Baruch hu et Adonai hamevorach. Baruch hu et Adonai hamevorach. Baruch Adonai hamevorach le'olam va'ed. Baruch Adonai hamevorach le'olam va'ed. Yai lai lai, yai lai lai lai, yai lai 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 lai. Let's take a seat, please. We turn to page 149 at the top of the page. Please join me in reading. Praise to you, Adonai our God, from whom the evening flows. Your wisdom sets the way on which time and season glide. Your breath guides the sail of the stars. Creator of the tide of time and light, you guide the current of day into night. As heaven spans to infinity, you set its course for eternity. Praise to you, Adonai our God, from whom the evening flows. Baruch atah Adonai, hama'ariv aravim. We turn the page to Ahavat Olam. Please join me in singing. Ahavat Olam, Beit Yisrael, Amcha Ahavta, Amcha Ahavta. Torah u'mitzvot, Chukim u'mishpatim, otanu limadeta, otanu limadeta. Al kein Adonai Eloheinu b'shachbenu, uvkumenu nasiach bechukecha, v'nismach b'divrei Toratecha, v'mitzvotecha le'olam va'ed, ki hem chayenu, ve'orech yameinu, uvahem nege yomam balayla, nege yomam balayla. ואהבתך אל תסיר ממנו לעולמים. ברוך אתה אדוני אוהב עמו ישראל, אוהב עמו ישראל. We turn to page 152, and those who are able to do so, please rise for Shema. Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad. 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 Baruch Shem Kevod Malchuto Le'olam Va'ed. Baruch Shem Kevod Malchuto Le'olam Va'ed. Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad. Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad. You may take a seat as we turn the page to 154 and we chant together Ve'ahavta. Ve'ahavta et Adonai Elohecha b'chol levavcha ub'chol nafshecha ub'chol meodecha v'hayu hadvarim ha'ile asher anochi mitzavecha hayom al levavecha v'shinantam levanecha v'dibarta bam b'shivtecha b'veitecha uv'lechtecha v'aderech uv'shochbecha uv'kumecha וקשרתם לאות על ידיך, והיו לטוטפות בין עיניך, וכתבתם על מזוזות ביתך ובשעריך, למען תזכרו ועשיתם את כל מצוותיי, והייתם קדושים לאלוהיכם. אני אדוני אלוהיכם, אשר הוצאתי אתכם מארץ מצרים, להיות לכם לאלוהים. אני אדוני אלוהיכם, אדוני אלוהיכם אמת. On the bottom of page 157, we see the words, "Let us continue to work for the day when the nations will be one and at peace. Then shall we rejoice as Israel did, singing on the shores of the sea," the Michamocha, page 158. Michamocha bailim Adonai, Michamocha nedar b'kodesh, norati lo tosefele, norati lo tosefele, ma'alechutecha ra'u vanecha, okei hayam lifnei Moshe u'Miriam, ze eliyanu ve'amru, כיפד אדוני את יעקב, וגאלו מיד חזק ממנו. ברוך אתה אדוני, גאל Yisrael. Even though it's Shabbat, and most of our attention is focused on the positive and that which is calming, we also recognize that there is much unrest in the world. And I would be remiss if I did not mention our utter grief, sadness, and shock at what happened yesterday in Afghanistan and the tremendous loss of life, both American life as well as Afghani life. And my heart goes out to them, and I'm sure that your hearts do as well. And we send our thoughts and prayers also to other parts of the world and even into our own community for people who are really in need of God's sheltering peace at this time. So please join me in singing the Hashkivenu Haporei Sukkot Shalom. It's the last part of the Hashkivenu prayer. Baruch atah, atah Adonai, haporei sukkot shalom. Shalom aleinu ve'al kol amo Yisrael. Baruch atah, atah Adonai, haporei sukkot shalom. Shalom aleinu ve'al kol amo Yisrael. Ve'al Yerushalayim ve'al kol amo. Ve'al Yerushalayim shalom. Ve'al atah Adonai, haporei sukkot shalom. Shalom aleinu ve'al kol amo Yisrael. Shalom aleinu ve'al kol amo Yisrael. With that in mind, we rise together for the tefillah on page 164. Adonai sifatai tiftach ufi agi tehilatecha. Adonai, open up my lips that my mouth may declare your praise. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu ve'Elohei avotenu ve'imotenu, Elohei Avraham, Elohei Yitzchak, ve'Elohei Yaakov, Elohei Sarah, Elohei Rivka, Elohei Rachel, ve'Elohei Leah, Ha'el Hagadol, Hagibor v'Hanora, El Elyon, Gomel Chasadim Tovim, Ve'konei Hakol, Ve'zocher Chastei Avot Ve'imahot, U'mevii Geula Livnei B'neihem, Lema'an Shemo Be'ahava, Melech Ozer U'Moshia U'Magen, Baruch atah Adonai, Magen Avraham ve'ezrat Sarah. Atah Gibor le'olam Adonai, מחיי הכל אתה רב להושיע, מוריד הטל, מכלכל חיים בחסד, מחיי הכל ברחמים רבים, סומך נופלים ורופא חולים, ומותיר אסורים, ומקיים אמונתו לשני עפר, מי כמוך בגבורות, ומינו מלך, מלך ממית ומחיה, ומצמיח ישועה, ונאמן אתה להחיות הכל. ברוך אתה אדוני מחיי הכל. אתה קדוש ושמך קדוש, וקדושים בכל יום יהללוך סלה. ברוך אתה אדוני האל הקדוש. Shalom ממרומיו, ויעשה שלום עלינו ועל כל ישראל, ואמרו אמן. יעשה שלום, יעשה שלום, שלום עלינו ועל כל ישראל. יעשה שלום, יעשה שלום, שלום עלינו ועל כל ישראל. יעשה שלום, יעשה שלום, שלום עלינו ועל כל ישראל. יעשה שלום, יעשה שלום, שלום עלינו ועל כל ישראל. We've come to the time in our service where we think of those who are in need of healing. And I have here a list of those we know of who are in need of healing in our congregation and friends of our congregation and people who have just let us know. But I'm going to ask if you have a name or names of those you are thinking of who are in need of healing of body, mind, spirit, or of all three. Please say their names aloud now. So for all of those whom we have named, as well as all of those good people around the world who are in need of healing. We sing this Misha Berach. Misha Berach Avotenu Mekor HaBracha Leimotenu. May the source of strength, who bless the ones before us, help us find the courage to make our lives a blessing, and let us say Amen. Misha Berach Imotenu Mekor HaBracha La'avotenu. Bless those in need of healing with refuah shlema, the renewal of body, the renewal of spirit, and let us say Amen. Rav Ephraim Karlebach, a rabbi at Kehilat Shomrei Hadass in Antwerp, Belgium, tells an interesting story. I'd like to share it with you because it has bearing on this week's Parsha, as well as this time that we are in as we are wrapping up 5781 and looking forward to the new Jewish year of 5782. So this is the story as Rabbi Ephraim Karlebach tells it. The child prodigy of Vilna, Lithuania, Rav Yisrael Gustman, had a small garden outside his office at the yeshiva. And every day he would go out to work in the garden, watering the plants. The students at the yeshiva would gaze at this action with curiosity as to why their great scholarly dean would spend his precious time watering and taking care of plants. Once upon seeing the curiosity of his students, he explained to them that this was an act of hakarat hatov, recognizing and showing gratitude. Prior to the war, he was once taking a walk with his teacher, Rav Chaim Ozer Grodzinski, as he would do frequently on Shabbat afternoon. Rav Chaim pointed out to him which vegetation and grasses were edible. This information turned out to be very important to Rav Gustman, enabling him to save his life during his escapes into the forests when the Nazis invaded Vilna. Consequently, Rav Gustman felt that watering the plants was an act of hakarat hatov, gratitude, to these various grasses and vegetation that had sustained him during the war. Hence, even during time of Torah study for the rest of the yeshiva, the Rosh Yeshiva, the head of the yeshiva, this Rav, was performing a mitzvah that he would perform very frequently during the week. This week's Torah portion, Ki Tavo, describes how the Israelites should behave when they will enter the Promised Land. The first act we are told that we should do is one of gratitude. We are to say, as it says in Deuteronomy chapter 26, verse 9, God brought us to this land, a land flowing with milk and honey. After this, in the Torah, there is a long accounting of the blessings that will occur if the Israelites follow the covenant, and a longer list of curses that will occur if they do not. The Torah states in Deuteronomy 28, verse 7, that if we forget the covenant, we will be cursed, because, it states, you did not serve Adonai your God happily and with fullness of heart for all the abundance. Thus, we learn that gratitude is one of the bedrock principles on which Judaism is based. In fact, the word for Jew in Hebrew, Yehudi, comes from the root lehodot, which means to give thanks. And in that way, Jews are defined as grateful people, and this forms a foundational principle of our religion. One of our psalms at the beginning of Shabbat that we often sing is Psalm 92. The first words of this psalm are, Tov lehodot, it is good to give thanks. What a wonderful way to begin our day of rest. A life filled with gratitude augments our entire existence. We become more joyful, kinder, more compassionate, and peaceful. It is a necessary component of a spiritual life to be grateful. As we now enter the High Holy Day period tomorrow night with our Slichot service, and I hope you will join us for that, 7:30 tomorrow evening. As we enter this period with our Slichot service tomorrow night, we think usually mostly about the negative, our own failings, and how we might make teshuvah or repair in our relationships. Parshat Ki Tavo, this Torah portion, also invites us to think about the positive, the abundance of blessings in our lives. As I've mentioned before, in Hebrew, the term for gratitude is hakarat hatov, and that literally means recognizing the good. We need to remember that even when life becomes difficult, as it has been for a long time now with the pandemic, and now resurging here in Florida, we should be grateful nonetheless for all of the blessings in our lives, which are sure to be there as well. We should not take anything for granted. My wish for us all, as the cycle of Torah readings begins to come to a close, is that we can focus on the positive in our lives. Our glasses are surely at least half full, and if you have more than a half-full glass, maybe you can pour some of your abundance of joy into someone else's. That is what community is here for, after all. So I wish you all a Shabbat Shalom, a good and peaceful, whole and holy day of rest. And I hope to see you here for Slichot tomorrow night. Shabbat Shalom. And now, why don't we take a moment for some announcements by the co-presidents.
Erev Shabbat service is sponsored by Audrey. Oh, hey. I get some freedom. Are you jealous? Audrey and Richard Mortman in memory of Naomi Van Clare. Betty and Eric Adams in memory of Eric's beloved mother, C. Sherry Adams. Andy and Seth Dinsky in memory of Philip Dinsky. Cynthia Novick in memory of her beloved son, Jeremy Brian Novick. Sam Weinman in memory of Margaret Maggie Schmid, friend of Lori Rhine. The following donations to the community food pantries are sponsored by Lori Rhine in honor of Ruth Seidel and Sam Weinman. Sam Weinman in memory of Margaret Maggie Schmid, friend of Lori Rhine. Our Saturday, August 28th Shabbat Torah study is sponsored by Audrey and Richard Mortman in memory of Naomi Van Clare. Betty and Eric Adams in memory of Eric's beloved mother, C. Sherry Adams. Andy and Seth Dinsky in memory of Philip Dinsky. Lila Goldman in memory of her beloved father, Mo Horowitz. Cynthia Novick in memory of her beloved son, Jeremy Brian Novick. Bonnie and James Hernan in memory of Jean Hirschberg. Esther Sagerman in memory of Jean Hirschberg. And now some brief announcements. I heard a groan. If you have requested or purchased High Holy Day tickets, please pick them up before the holidays. Make sure to have proof of vaccination with you if you haven't already provided it when you pick up your tickets. If you're in the sanctuary with us tonight, you haven't picked them up yet, you can see Judy Stern after services to get your tickets. Everyone else that's watching, as I said, if you haven't, please try to arrange to do it this week. Break the fast. If it's anybody thinking about breaking the fast, it seems a light years away, but we are offering a wonderful Break the Fast box that you can either pick up to go, or you can take it with you into our ballroom after services at the very conclusion of Yom Kippur services and join with us to have your own Break the Fast box. There are flyers, order forms in the lobby, so please take advantage of that. The cutoff date will be September 10th. And our two tech teens over there are not just tech teens, they're also the head of our reforming Nifty group, which is a youth group. And they have asked me to ask you if you know any teens that are Jewish teens and looking for some social activities and to get together with other kids. They've got some kids, they'd like more. You can see them and just maybe give them contact information or something like that, or next time you come, they are going to be here every week. Thank you. And that is Hayden Katz and Kyle Rudd, by the way. Thank you very much.
Just a moment here. Having the microphone and the mask is a little difficult here. Okay. Thank you very much, Betty. Okay, so now we turn to the beginning of our concluding prayers, which is 586 for the Aleinu. And those who are able to do so, please rise as the ark is opened for the Aleinu. Aleinu l'shabeach l'adon hakol, לתת גדולה ליוצר בראשית, שלא עשנו כגויי הארצות, ולא שמנו כמשפחות האדמה, שלא שם חלקנו כהם, וגורלנו ככל המונם, ואנחנו קוראים ומשתחווים ומודים לפני מלך מלכי המלכים הקדוש ברוך הוא. ונאמר והיה אדוני למלך על כל הארץ ביום ההוא, ביום ההוא יהיה אדוני אחד, ושמו אחד. Please take a seat. It is a fearful thing to love what death can touch. A fearful thing to love, hope, dream, to be and oh, to lose. A thing for fools this, and a holy thing to love. For your life has lived in me, your laugh once lifted me, your word was gift to me. To remember this brings a painful joy. 'Tis a human thing, love, a holy thing, to love what death has touched. At this time, we recall those whose yahrzeits, the commemoration of their passing, happened at this time. and whose names are illuminated on the plaques surrounding the sanctuary. C. Sherry Adams, Dan Adler, William Bahar, Abram Brambrut, Ellie Cohen, Jenny Dan, Molly Eiferman, Rose Gilbert, Chaim Hillel Heimowitz, Richard Hendler, Dr. Jacob Jupiter, Sarah Marshak, Giuseppe David Passy, Dorothy Steinberg, Saul Tobin, and Etta Wexler. Others recalled at this time: Felicia Abraham, Nathan Bamel, Max Block, Samuel Botwinick, Philip Dinsky, Mo Horowitz, Tama Perlmutter, Naomi Van Clare, and Frank Ventry. Those whose deaths are more recent in the past 30 days, the Shloshim period: Ian Fedkie, Jean Hirschberg, Harriet Fertig, and Phyllis Glazer. If you are thinking of someone whom I have not named, please raise your hand or stand up so I can acknowledge you to say the name out loud now. I'm sorry. Go ahead, Harriet. I'm sorry. Okay, and behind you? Okay, and now Donna. Did I miss someone? Oh, I'm sorry. So in memory of all of those whom we have named, as well as those who were murdered in the Shoah, we rise in solidarity with mourners everywhere as we recite the Mourner's Kaddish, page 598. Yit Gadal v'yit Kadash Shemei Rabbah, Be'alma divarach hirute v'yamlich malchute, B'chayechon u'v'yomechon, u'v'chaye d'chol Beit Yisrael, Ba'agala uvizman kariv imru, Amen. Yehi shemei Rabbah mevorach le'olam ulal me'almaya. Yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitpa'ar v'yitromam v'yitnaseh. V'yithadar v'yit'aleh v'yithalal. Shemei dekudesha barichu. Le'elah min kol birchata v'shirata. Tushbachata v'nechamata. Da'amiran ba'alma ve'imru, Amen. Yehi shalom rabba min shemaya, v'chayim aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael, ve'imru, Amen. Oseh shalom bimromav, hu ya'aseh shalom, aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael, ve'imru, Amen. May the one who creates harmony on high bring peace to us, to all Israel, and to all who mourn among us. And let us all say, Amen. Please take a seat. So we often do the song, the hymn, Adon Olam. But this is a tune we haven't done for a while, so I thought we'd bring it back, and it's a little jazzy. So as you become comfortable, please join with me, or if you know it already, please join with me. Page 625. 625, Adon Olam. Adon Olam asher malach b'terem kol yitzir nivra le'et nasa v'chefso kol azay melech shemo nikra. Adon Olam asher malach b'terem kol yitzir nivra le'et nasa b'chefso kol azay melech shemo nikra. Ve'acharon asher malach. I'm sorry, I know he was going to repeat that. Let's go back to that second part. Adon Olam asher malach b'terem kol yitzir nivra le'et nasa b'chefso kol azay melech shemo nikra. Adon olam asher malach v'terem kol yitzir nivra le'ed nasa v'chefso kol azai melech shemo nikra ve'acharei kitlot hakol levado yimloch nara v'hu haya v'hu hoveh v'hu yeh v'hu yeh v'hu yeh b'tifara Adon olam asher malach terem kol yitzir nivra le'ed nasa v'chefso kol azai melech shemo nikra azai melech shemo nikra. I knew we'd get it by the end. You and me both. Shabbat shalom. Hope to see you tomorrow.